Hello and welcome to another video of Naval Action with RunGB. And now it's finally time to see how I'm doing in the open sea. Now I'm doing pretty fine. I'm already level 3 and I'm in Niagara. I don't play that much, but that's because I can't play all day long. There are people who are already in big frigates, but I'm taking things slowly. I'm actually commenting this afterwards because, well, I had commentary on these videos, but I think commenting afterwards is a little better because I can give a general idea of what I was thinking and how I was sailing, without the problem of having to do the stuff, think, and then comment at the same time. This actually was recorded. This was pretty much my first time out of the of port. I have maybe gone before a couple times, but yeah, and I'm in a cutter. I'm not in the yachts. Why I'm not in the yachts? Well, because at the time that I was recording this, I didn't have 6-inch 6-pounder guns still, and I didn't want to risk a ship with limited durabilities. After all, the yacht is redeemable, but I didn't want to risk it before I had 6-pounder guns. So I'm just out of the port, and I see I have my Admiralty order just in front of me. So we are going to go in there and see how we do. Well, one of the mistakes people tend to do when they start is to begin they can capture almost anything they go against. AI ships are actually pretty decent at this game, if not downright straight scary. Depending on their skill level, they can be really good. When you go against a similar sized ship with small guns, I have only 4-pounders again. You can't really expect to inflict enough damage to go and board them before they smash you to bits. Also, I have no upgrades, I have nothing specialized for boarding combat, so I'm just going to smack the hell out of this guy. It's a cutter, just as mine, and you will see, well, the beginning tactics when you are in a very small ship versus another very small ships. First, you don't rush the shot, you want to go close. And while I missed most of the shots, again, I'm not used to firing in small ships. And also I'm not used to the fact that there's no double shot anymore. When I began playing again, I had this tendency to shoot a little bit higher than what I should, because I was used of the old double shot back in the early open world days, and also in the early sea trials. And double shot drops almost instantly. Meanwhile, of course, normal guns don't. So you will notice that now and then some more or less instinctive shots will go a little bit higher, but that's normal, and again, that happened at the beginning. What you want to do against a ship of similar size is to outmaneuver him. In general, that involves either getting the wind gates and working on double broadsides on him. As you can see, what I'm doing here is firing, showing the other side, preferably trying to synchronize things so I show my bow at the moment they are going to start firing. Getting raked is never, here you see again I'm firing a little bit high. Generally speaking, getting raked is not really great, but if you are trying to sink an enemy very quickly, it's much better to focus on his sides before focusing on his rear or his front. The rear is a very good target when you know the encounter is going to last a while, and killing crew and guns is going to be critical. And if you get a rudder disabled, even better. But in these very small battles, it's better to kill fast. So go for the sides, aim for the sides, and blast away at them. Also, these ships are so narrow, so small, that it's quite complicated to land all your shots in a raking shot. They are very thin, so most of your shots will miss the mark. so you will be wasting your broadsides. Now and then you can fire, as I did here, individual shots to the rear or the front when you know you are going to hit, but just one. Or two maybe, if you synchronize things well. But a complete rake is, against this kind of ships, is not really worth it. Unless you are trying to board them, of course, in which case, yeah. Killing the crew is always helpful. Killing the ability to maneuver also is really helpful. And hitting the rudder will help you with that. Another thing of consideration is try to get as many reload shocks as you can on the enemy. Particularly so in these very small ship battles when, I mean, these ships don't stand almost any kind of damage. If you kill their ability to reload for a cycle or two while you are shooting on him, that's going to hurt him a lot in the long run. And you can see I've lost not even 20% of my armor, and he's already in his last gasps. Be careful with the waves as well. Try to synchronize your shots so the motion of the ship goes more or less akin to the shot you are going to fire, because a bad timed shot will end up with a lot of your shots hitting on the waves instead of the enemy ship. Also notice I'm all the time in sailing mode. This is really important. Why am I at sailing mode all the time? Well, because I'm maneuvering a lot. I'm maneuvering more than I'm reloading. I mean, I shot, maneuver, and by the time I shot the other side, my original side is reloading. So when I turn back to fire my initial broadside again, my guns will be reloaded. There's no reason to go into canary mode unless you know you are not going to be able to do double broadsides in the way you are watching me doing it here. Also, manage a lot. Here we have friendly with two friendlies, which might have thought I was in some kind of problem. This happens a lot. People who join battles you are in, and sometimes really helpful. Sometimes I don't really mind. In this case, I didn't mind. I mean, this was a very tiny ship, so who cares? But when I'm trying to capture something bigger, or when I'm trying to get as much XP as I can, and I know I'm going to fight alone and win alone, I don't really like to be messed and interrupted by other players. And I usually tell them, I don't need any help, thank you. But yeah, good luck with that. They all are going to insist because they are all greedy. And this is something I hate about multiplayer games. People don't respect each other, but well, is what happens. When I joined, of course, a lot of battles which were ongoing, but I always asked, do you need any help, or can I do something to help you? In some cases, it's really nice because if you are trying to capture someone, and someone else joins, well, there's someone else can shoot at the sails while you focus on the crew, making things a lot faster. But most players simply don't care. They will shoot at the hull and try to sink the ship you're trying to capture, which is honestly is kind of crap, but whatever. But well, this guy is gone. I'm going to get my rewards and keep on sailing. So let's move forward. And forward we go. And this time I managed already in my yachts. I have already 6-pounder guns, so I'm using them. And yeah, well, this is one of those situations that you really want to find, which is a trader, enemy trader brig. Now, trader brigs actually come with guns, but I don't know why they don't shoot. They have 18 inch. Oh my gosh! Yeah, that would be really scary. Something with three 18-inch guns. No, they carry three 18-pounder carronades on each side, but I don't know why they are not shooting them at the moment. I guess that's some kind of bug that will get fixed. At any rate, this shows how to. Well, how to capture a bigger ship, which can't fire back, of course. But yeah, we'll also show you a little bit of boarding. Not a lot, because I've learned a lot about boarding. since I did this particular game. You will have some better instances of boarding in this channel, and I'll explain you in detail how to do well in boarding, or at least not sucker a lot. I'm still trying to get the little parts of boarding right. But for the most part, I'm able to board enemy ships with similar amount of crews and win the boarding. At any rate, well, at the beginning, what you have to do is to slow the enemy down. With small guns, it's very hard to achieve a demasting. Very hard. So, in general, I try to shoot at the sails and try to lower them as much as I can, and then try to force the enemy into the wind so he slows down and I'm able to board. You will see all that in this gameplay. Um, when fighting at the enemy sails, keep in mind that there's a percentage, as you can see right now it's at 87% up to the right. You can see 87% sails. However, if you shoot at a sail which is already shot up, I mean, you can't put a lot more holes in something that's already holed, right? Try to focus your fire on sails which aren't particularly damaged, or even if they are intact, better yet. As you can see, well, the sails on this thing are pretty smashed, and I only achieved 5% by shooting at the aft sails. So try to focus on sails individually and or collectively, but try to focus on those sails which are intact, because with those is where you really achieve to slow the enemy down a lot. So yeah, well, there's going to be a lot of shooting the enemy sails. As you can see here, I'm not doing double broadsides, I'm not maneuvering, I'm just keeping my place on the starboard side of this guy and shooting away at his sails. And yeah, I'm using gunnery, of course, because in this situation, gunnery, faster reload is better. So, well, let's move a little bit forward, because this is going to take a while, and see how I do as time goes on. Well, once you have shot the sails a little bit, you might want to change to grape to reduce the enemy crew numbers. How to use crew? Don't shoot at the hull. Shoot at the decks. You can see here I shot at the decks and I achieved some kills. Grape shot is canister. They are very small balls, and if you are shooting them at a hull, well, the hull is going to stop most of it. Even if the hull is weakened and if it has very low armor, well, the hull is still there, right? So yeah, it's going to stop most of it. However, if you shoot, as you are seeing here right now, if you shoot at the decks, especially when the ship is tilted towards you, you will be able to kill some crew with its broadside. It's very important the part of the ship being tilted towards you, because if the ship is tilted away from you, you won't be able to see the deck. All your hits are going to hit on the hull. So a very good strategy to use grape on an enemy ship is to be downwind from him. So as you can see here, the wind is coming from beyond this ship I'm firing at, so the ship is heeling towards me. And by doing so he's showing a little bit more of the deck towards. Right now you can see it here. I timed my shot and rewarded by quite some crew killed. Also, motion on the waves help a lot on that. Maybe the guy is going down a wave and he's tilting towards your side for a split second. Use that second to fire away your grape shot, because if you are going to heal the hull, it's not going to do a lot. Here you have another good instance of the ship is healing towards me. He's showing a little bit more deck when he heals. I'm holding my fire, and if he goes down the wave, he shows a lot more of the deck towards me, and I'm rewarded by killing a pretty good amount of his crew. Of course, it's a pretty slow process because small guns don't fire a lot of grape. They are not extremely useful for that. But over time, well, you will kill enough crew to go for the boarding. With bigger cannons, really crew, you can do absolute carnages. on enemy decks. I'm talking about maybe 20 sailors in a single shot with 9 pounder. I've done that with the Mercury on enemy decks. But of course, it has to be a very good shot, and it has to be at a proper angle when the ship is healing towards you and is offering you his deck, so you can shoot it. So again, shoot sails first, shoot the crew later, and finally force the guy for a boarding. How do you do that? Well, let's see that. Well, as you can see, I have reduced the enemy crew quite a lot. I'm fighting standard ball right now because I'm just trying to demast him or kill his sails. Usually with a square rigger, you only need to force him to move into the wind like he's doing right now. How do you do that? Well, you are downwind from him, you start turning towards him so he has to avoid you, and by doing so he will start moving into the wind. When he's moving into the wind, he will slowly come to a stop. And then you come in close and you throw your boarding hooks and he's yours. This one I actually killed a lot of his crew. I didn't need to kill this much. Also, I went into boarding as soon as I could. Once I knew I could board. Boarding preparation is very important. And now we are going to see how boarding goes. You can see there are several different options here. I'm going to stop it for a second. Okay, let's begin from above to the bottom. First, you have the two ships, number of marines, muskets, firepower, and melee. Marines, I'm not sure exactly what it decides how many marines does a crew have, but I guess it's related to the rank. Not sure. Muskets depends on the amount of sailors you have, and there are upgrades that increase the amount of muskets you have. Firepower is the deck guns, which are anti-crew. There are swivel guns on your ship, which add firepower when you fire the guns. And melee is the bonus you have in melee, again from handbooks or upgrades or whatever you have that might increase that stat. Then you have the amount of crew, the morale of your ship, the preparation points you have, and the options down there. Now, how do you win a boarding? Well, obviously, if you kill all the enemy crew, you win the boarding. No more needed, right? But there is another way to win the boarding, and without killing all the enemy crew. If you bring the enemy morale down to a very low number, and then you go into an attack option, only with attack, doesn't work with any other command, and you bring his morale to 0, then they will surrender immediately. Now, the key, of course, is bringing their morale down, and that happens through pre-boarding actions. The more crew you have killed, the lower the morale, the more damage they have, the lower the morale. Usually using grape shot on them, useful grape shot. If you shoot grape shot and kill no one, it's not going to do a lot for morale. But if you shoot grape shot and kill a lot of enemy sailors immediately before you boarding, their morale will be pretty low. And well, then during the boarding, if you choose the correct options in your selection, which counter the enemy selections, well, his morale will go down. You won't see a lot of that in here because they are only 11. It's not going to last a lot, but those are the rules in general. So morale goes down by pre-boarding actions, and during the action itself, if you choose the correct counters to his actions, his morale will go down. Also, his crew will go down, obviously. Now, which are all these options? Well, this is an expansion of the original idea of rock, paper, scissors that the game had. And before, you could either fire a volley, you could defend or attack, right? Now there are several different options, which are actually they are somehow similar to the old model, but they are a lot of variety, which is really good. First, you have brace. Brace does nothing. Okay, brace means that your crew is hiding and is collecting itself and is getting ready for doing something later on. And brace is very good against incoming musket volleys and the guns fire because they are covered behind barricades and behind the structures of the ship, etc. And allows you to win preparation. It's the only command that wins preparation once the turn goes on. It's very weak against attack and is very weak against fire grenades. Because of course, if you are hiding behind a barricade and someone lobs a grenade at you, well, that's not going to help a lot, right? So yeah, weak against attack and fire grenades. Defend. Defend is only good against one thing, which is attack. If the enemy is attacking you defend, he's going to suffer a lot of casualties and he's going to take a huge hit to his morale. But other than that, it's weak. It's very strong against attack, it's very weak against musket volley, it's very weak against fire the guns, it's very weak against fire grenades. Attack. Attack is very extremely costly in preparation. Very, very, very costly. So you really need to time the proper time for an attack. Attack is only is good, is great against musket volley, fire grenades, and brace. It's pretty shitty in my experience. I have gotten very, very bad results attacking against deck guns. When the enemy is fighting the guns, try not to attack, honestly. And is obviously horrendous against defend. Next is musket volley. Musket volley is, well, your sailors get the muskets and start shooting at the enemy. It's very, very good against defend. It's very, very good against fire the guns. It's very, very good against fire the grenades. Essentially, anything that doesn't involve the enemy taking cover behind something. Well, against fire grenades, now and then, it's more or less a tie. It's good, but it's not that good. Then we have fire the guns. Fire the guns is that you man the swivel guns on your deck and, well, fire at the enemy. It's very good against defend. It's very, very good against fire grenades. It's decently good against attack. Really, is sometimes if you don't have the preparation points to spend into a defend action and you can do fire the guns, that can save your ass. And yeah, well, that's pretty much it. And fire grenades again is what you use against a defending enemy. It's very good against brace. It's very good against defend. It's weak against more or less the rest. Now, the next thing to understand is the cost. Okay, each action has a cost in preparation points. Brace costs nothing, obviously. It gives you preparation points. It doesn't detract preparation points from you. Defend is pretty costly in preparation points. Attack is very costly in preparation points. Musket volley is pretty nice, doesn't cost a lot. Fire the guns cost a little bit more than musket volley, and fire grenades cost more or less the same as musket volley. And finally, the cooldown and recharge. Okay, when you take an action, it will need at least one turn to recharge, unless it's a brace or yeah, unless it's brace. You can brace all the time low. Okay, you can just spend all the time, all the turns bracing, but it's not going to do any good for you, of course, because the enemy is going to attack. The rest needs a cooldown of at least one turn. Okay, so if you choose one option, you can't choose the same option in the next turn. It will be on the grayed out, and it will say cooldown 1/1. You need this turn to be able to reload that ability. And finally, there's another cooldown, which is within the turn. We will see that in a second. So yeah, let's move it forward and see from that point. So we are waiting for the counter to go down, and once it goes down, I will stop again and explain more or less how this cooldown thing goes. Okay, you won't see me using it a lot in this particular battle first because it was against only 11 sailors and I was going to win very, very easily. But you will be seeing that in other videos I'm going to make because I'm going, of course, to properly showcase boarding action in this channel. As you can see, I chose musket volley right at the beginning of the turn, right? And it says cooldown 1/7. That means that for the next 7 seconds, you won't be able to change your selection, right? You are stuck with musket volley. After 7 seconds, you can change it, right? To another option, depending on what the enemy has chosen. And usually the time you chose the second one, if you are very quick, you can shift between 3 different ones in the same turn, but it's not common and you need a lot of preparation for that. I'll explain that in a second. But usually, if you have enough preparation, you can switch between 2 in the same turn. You choose one, you see what the enemy does to counter it, you change to another one, and then see the results, right? So to begin with, I go with musket volley, and says cooldown 1/7. That means I have to wait 7 seconds before I can choose another thing. Now here is where preparation is extremely important. The more costly the action is, the more limited you are in your ability to change it, right? Right now I'm at 96 preparation, which means I'm almost at the top. When my cooldown goes away and I can change to another option, I can change to whatever I want. But if, say, I'm at 40 preparation, right? I choose this, and after 7 seconds, I can change to another option. But some of them will be grayed out if they are too costly, namely attack. Attack, you can only choose after the timer goes past the half when you are at very high preparations. And believe me, until I understood this, oh boy, I had to suffer losses. Okay, that's because the more costly the action is, the more preparation you need to pull it later. Okay, so if you have enough, just enough points to do an attack, you will be able to select it, but only at the beginning of the timer. After the timer hits the half, the attack will be grayed out. You won't be able to choose it for the rest of the turn. That means that sometimes you are stuck with an attack. If you want to attack, you can't feign with something else, because a very nice thing is to feign with, I don't know, maybe musket volley, to make the other guy to go into brace, and then change to attack to overrun him. But that you can only do when you are at very high preparations. If you are at low preparations, attack will be grayed out. You won't be able to choose it. This is extremely important. And again, it cost me a lot of sailors to learn properly, because I was puzzled. I was like, okay, I will feign this and then attack. And then I was maybe with 40 attack, 5 seconds to go in the timer, and I couldn't switch to attack. And I was like, why? Why? I can't attack. And it was because of that. I had the preparation points to attack, but the timer was too advanced for me to switch to that one. And this is pretty much the boarding. It's very evolved, believe me. This seems very simple, but it's a mindfuck at times. And yeah, there's one more option which you can see down there: disengage. Now, disengage, what it does is to well, give your crew the orders to start cutting the ropes which are tying your ship to the enemy ship, right? Usually, you need 4 full turns to get free of an enemy. Those turns, your crew is dedicated to try to cut the ropes, to get rid of the hooks, all that kind of stuff. Of course, the problem is that with those orders, you can't give some orders. You can't attack while you are disengaging. And I'm not sure, but I think you can't defend either. You can brace, you can fire musket volley, you can fire grenades, whatever, but you can't attack. That's the most important thing. You can't attack. I think you can defend, actually. I'm not sure. Again, I will do a proper video about this. Don't worry. I'm just explaining how it goes in general terms. After 4 turns have elapsed, your ship will be free, and then the enemy will have a 1 minute cooldown before he can hook you again and try to board you again. So spend that time trying to run away and getting the hell out of dots. Another thing is that while you are disengaging, whatever option you choose will be less effective because your crew is distracted by the fact that they are trying to get away from the enemy ship, and then they won't be spending so much attention at what orders you are giving them. So for instance, if you give them orders to brace while they are trying to disengage, they will get less preparation than usual and will be more vulnerable to enemy fire. If you give them order to musket volley while you are trying to get free, again the musket volley won't be as effective, etc., etc., etc. But yep, that's pretty much what boarding is. Now let's see how did I do in this one. Of course, I did very well because the enemy was pretty much toast. But when you are going against an enemy with high morale and similar numbers than you, this is extremely, extremely challenging and very fun, believe me. So let's take a look at it. Okay, so for my first option, I'm going to go to musket volley. And once the cooldown is gone, I change to attack. But the other guy has a lot of preparation as well, so he can't change to defend. And yeah, well, he doesn't do a lot because they are only 11, but whatever. In this one, instead of choosing one, I wait. The guy enemy defense goes for fire grenades, I answer with musket volley. Because my attack is grayed out. This turn, I wait again, since he's bracing. Now he changed to fire the cans, and notice that now he's not able to change back to defend again because he's very low in preparation. Before he could because he was very high, now he couldn't because he was very low. And he has only 2 crew left, 5 morale left. I'm going to choose fire the cans just to try to wipe them out, and that's it. Crew 0, morale 0, I won the boarding. Now, this is a very, very, very short instance of it. Again, I'm going to do a proper video about how to board and boarding commands and tactics, etc. I'm not especially good at it because I'm still learning, but at least I know what I'm doing. And I guess you can't really ask for much more than that this early in the game. At any rate, well, I captured this guy, which netted me a pretty nice thing, which is a trader's brick, of course, reinforced masts, and iron ore. And these reinforced masts are very nice. They cost a lot. They cost 14k doubloons. So I send that not to the Admiralty because that's not enabled for now. I send it to the outpost. And once I go to Havana, I will be able to sell both the iron ore and the ship. So let's go to Havana and see how much I did out of these captures. So back to Havana, and now we are going to take a look at what we did. Trader Snow, I choose it. I tried to sell it, but now I notice, no. Yeah, it has a carbonate, so I'm going to unload the carbonates. Go back to the main screen, and now I will sell it for more than 4,000 gold. So that's pretty nice. Then I go to the shop because I captured some cargo. And the carbonates, of course, which are almost 2k, which is really great. But no. Stop. Yeah, resources here. They don't come in listed here, but there it is. That's pretty nice. That's, yep, 1.3k again. And finally, the masts, which are 14k. So, but those I didn't sell. Those are keeping for another ship. I might use them in the future. So yeah, that was a pretty profitable start for my time in Naval Action. Again, these are for my first day in after the game was released in Steam. But at any rate, of course, you will be seeing more of these videos in the future, probably with bigger ships already, because I'm already in a Niagara, which is a brig, a very big brig with a lot of cannons. So yeah, probably of that, or maybe some things I also did with smaller ships. But well, in the meantime, I think this is good for a taste of what's coming. And as always, I thank you very much for watching, and see you later.